The last thing I want to talk about is interaction in your course. We talk about interaction like a triangle because there's interaction between the student and the content. There's interaction between you and the student. And there's interaction between students, student to student interaction. So we've got 3 areas of interaction that we want to consider. While we can technically force interacting, we can require students to post X number of times on the discussion board. We can require students to have X number of meetings with us. We can require synchronous meetings. We can have those requirements. But requirements does not always translate to organic interaction. And requirements don't always translate to a good class. You can have a good class with none of those requirements. What we want to do, though, is create the opportunities. Make sure that the opportunities are there. And this could look like a couple of different things. Making sure that you have a space for students to ask questions. That's always very huge. How are you going to facilitate office hours? How are you going to prefer that students contact you regarding questions? We see this a lot with just a general questions discussion board. Having a place where students can introduce themselves and share what they feel comfortable sharing. How did the students identify? What kind of personal pronouns would they prefer that you use? What kind of personal pronouns would you prefer that they use? There's a lot of culturally relevant conversations that can happen that encourage interaction. And by creating these opportunities in your class, the students feel like you're cultivating a safe space. Because one of the most important pillars of interaction is trust. So you're creating these opportunities for students to collaborate or to interact. That interaction is not going to happen without some level of trust being established. How do you establish trust? Interacting in your course, making sure that students know that you are considerate of what they have to say, that other students are being considerate of what is happening, what the conversation that's occurring, whether it's on the discussion board or whatever. You can facilitate group projects that encourage collaboration and interaction. So each of these things, each of these 3 areas, whether it be instructor, student, student content, or student, each of these interactions can be mindfully positioned in your class to create opportunities for students to engage with one another. And as you create these opportunities, you're able to then notice trends. Maybe you have several students who are very active in the course, and then you might have one of those outlier students. Well, being able to identify those students that may need a little bit more outreach. Maybe you have a student who isn't logging in regularly. You can reach out to that student. That's, increasing that student to instructor interaction. That's communicating, saying, hey, I care about you and I care about your success in this course. So how can I help you be successful in this course? And I'm not saying to let, to have no rules or policies. If you have late policies, then that's definitely your discretion and you're right. But just being able to communicate that you care about their success, but you also care about their safety and you respect their positions, and just creating that level of respect and competence and trust can be foundational as you're developing opportunities for that collaboration and for that interaction.